It's a pretty View Askew heavy weekend for us.
Yeah.
We have Joey Lauren Adams here this weekend from Chasing Amy and Mallrats and so many others. And we also have Jay Muse, who's dancing around his booth from time to time. And then Sunday, the big boss man himself, Mr. Kevin Smith, will be here to wrap up the whole show, to blow the roof off this motherfucker.
There has never been this many of us with Kevin at a show before, at a convention.
Yeah. I think it's been all the restraining orders that kind of...
I mean, we've had 4 of us, but with
we weren't going to talk about that before, about that foursome. No, yeah, we've had 4 of us, other players at other cons like this. But it's great. Yeah. Who's a first time here at this convention? Oh, right on.
Wow, lots.
Right on, right on. Who's the furthest away? Who's come in from the longest distance? Name a state. Go ahead, sir. Yeah, that's usually a distance away is out of state. Oh, you mean like 4 blocks from here? Yeah, like is someone here from California who's not a guest list? Yeah, I know. I said without a guest list. Anybody coming in from the islands? Any island? Samoa? What? Where? No.
So everybody's here from Miami?
The Keys are an island. That's true. You're right, sir.
Everybody's from Florida?
Right on.
Oh.
You're not. Yeah, but you're with us, so that doesn't make any difference. So anyway, we do pretty much anything we want usually at these Q&As, and we open the Qs to any type of Q you want to ask. So it doesn't even have to do with Clerks. It doesn't have to do with anything. If you want to hear, who hasn't seen the movie Clerks here? All right, some noobs. You were like, wait a minute. Wait a minute, isn't this the Dana Snyder panel? Where's he?
But welcome anyway.
Well, welcome aboard. What brought you into the room? Oh, you're forced to be here. Well, that's cool. I get it. It's like community service. I must attend the panel if I can get in free. All right, I'll do the most painless one. Then holler and
you know, now that they mention it, I do see a few red shirts.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
Oh, you know about the red shirts, right?
First to die? Yeah. I think that's why they wear red. It's not because, the mind is trained in an emergency to look for the color red or flee from the color red, but whatever. So anyway, for those who don't know the film Clerks, what the fuck? No. Well, there are new people born every day, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. It's a great independent film. We filmed it in '93. It got picked up by the Miramax Corporation in
94?
January of '94 at the Sundance Film Festival. Mm-hmm. And it got released then in October of '94, and it was a weird kind of indie hit that was in theaters, like maybe about 4 theaters or 100 theaters, whatever it was back in the day when independent theaters were strong. And then where it really got its traction was VHS tape rentals. Now, for you kids that don't remember VHSs, you could ask your grandparents about that. It's a little tape that you rewind.
You still have any?
Do I? Yeah. Uh-huh. I still have a player and everything. So
oh, wow.
VHSs are... it's funny because that whole hipster movement, where they're like, I'm going to grow beards and wear clothes four times smaller than my body, and I'm going to drink nothing but craft beer, and I'm going to listen to nothing but vinyl and VHS tapes. And I'm like, really? And it is. It's a resurgence of vinyl and all things old and stuff. Yeah. I think that's why we're popular again. Everything old is new again.
But
right, Ricky? You know that.
It's funny how they've managed to put the technology of today into that old stuff. Like the old record players with
Wait,
USBs.
are you saying like George Lucas has gotten a hold of Clerks and
I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that.
Put some CGI in it with explosions and shit, and now there's a digital Randall running around? Because that would be awesome. I'm still waiting for Ted Turner to buy it and colorize it. I think that'd be hilarious. Right? That'd be hilarious, see us in color. I think I still have the clothes from the original film, so I'd be able to tell them what color they are. And the store still exists. Anybody ever been to the store in New Jersey? It's a shack of a shithole, isn't it? Yeah, it's like the size of some of the hotel rooms. It's like really, you actually have a business here? That is right. Would you like cigarettes or what? Move along. They get annoyed because people always want to stand behind the counter. They're always out of Gatorade. Hey, pack of smokes. They're like, oh, that stupid Kevin Smith has ruined our lives. That's my best I can do with that one.
Okay.
That's all. So, any questions so far? Just throw a hand up. Any complaints? Just don't throw produce. Yes, sir.
Okay.
You've had the glory of playing Dante and his relatives. How do you go about changing up for his relatives?
Well, a lot of that has to do with the writing. I mean, when he wrote Gil Hicks after me portraying, Dante Hicks. Now, Dante is a bit of a whiner, a bit of a, like, oh, my life sucks, and I don't know what to do with my life. It's a character, yes, a bit, right. When it came to Gil Hicks, where he was kind of like, hey, how you doing? Type of guy, yet he was still a super uber nerd who was, mythology major from Rutgers University. It was kind of like, it was that kind of douchiness that some college guy thinks he could be with the blazer and young Republicans. Any Republicans, don't get on me on that one, it's just a comment, type of a deal. And it was fun playing it, and that's kind of why I'm growing this horse shit of a hair right now, because by the time we start shooting Mallrats 2 in October, I think he has me playing Gil again. He didn't really confirm it when we had the conversation. I'm hopefully clarifying this when I see him on Sunday. He'll probably see, like, what's with the hair? Cut it. I'm like, oh, thank you. But I'll probably play that role yet again. And then going on to do Chasing Amy, me and some guy, what's that actor's name? Some Matt somebody or another. I remember when I got that role as the TV executive in Chasing Amy, my agent called me and they sent me the script. I was living in LA at the time, and
You were?
yeah, I was living with a friend in LA for a couple of months, and she's like, "This is the role." Blah blah blah. I'm like, "Awesome!" I see all the dialogue. It's just me and then Ben Affleck and Jason Lee. It's the whole Snoochie Boosie's conversation in Chasing Amy. And then, like a week later, she calls me like, "Yeah, Brian, I got some news." I'm like, "Yeah." They said they're going to bring in another actor for that scene, so they're going to take half your dialogue and give it to this other actor. So it's two of you are asking the questions of the guy. I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, who's this other actor?" He was like, "It's this guy named Matt Damon." And swear to God, without a beat, I went, "Who the fuck is Matt Damon?" Because back in '98, he wasn't really the Matt Damon we all know now.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget that. Like, who the fuck is Matt Damon? I think that's when my career got cursed. He'd be like, "What? I'm gonna go Jason Bourne on his ass." So that's that Hicks, and then. Then Grant Hicks from Dogma, the news reporter, which is literally before Anchorman even started. It was just my attempt at what an Anchorman newsman would be like. I'm Grant Hicks, with the cheesy mustache. So when I saw Anchorman, I was like, that was Grant Hicks. I just didn't have the drinking problem. I know how to drink, not to spill it. All right. Any other questions so far? So that's how it was really written for whatever Kevin put together. Yes, sir. The animated series, that's a painful one to me. It's a show that was canceled way too early. I can't keep sitting, I gotta stand. And out of all the episodes, I like the courtroom one where Jay sues the store. I think that's a funny one. They're all really good. You can't not love the Temple of Doom and Bad News Bears baseball game episode. If anybody hasn't seen the Clerks animated series, it was a series that was developed for ABC back in 2000, and we were given 6 episodes by ABC to do it, and it takes 9 months to do animation back then, and it was a very expensive budget for what animation shows cost back then. It wasn't like a South Parkian type of budget where it's only $50,000 an episode. We were spending $250,000 an episode, which is unheard of, especially back then, especially because we had celebrity guest star voiceover actors and stuff like that. So when that got canceled, because when I first got the gig, I was just like, this is going to be the Simpsons of my life. I'll be rolling in the dough 20 years from now. People will be having me at cons, and I'll be just saying, like, my version of ay caramba, shit like that.
And then,
And then 2 episodes in, they're like, canceled. And it's because back then, it took 9 months for the animators at Disney and then to send the master artwork to Korea. Korea then does all the actual grunt work, sends it back, after we record the dialogue first, of course. And in that 9-month stretch, ABC that summer had this crazy hit fucking show called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And it was on like once a week, and then twice a week, and then 3, and then it was like nothing but Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And so then they canceled all their new programming that year just to have this game show all the time.
I only saw the 2 animated.
Yeah, most of America only saw
Yeah.
the 2 episodes. Thank you for reminding me. Actually, I mean,
Yeah, but I'm sure
gave
people
us they gave us a Super Bowl ad, like the $1 million ad that they pay for. They gave it to us because it was on their network, the Super Bowl that year, and so that's a painful thing. And people go, well, why don't you bring it to Comedy Central or Adult Swim or something like that, Cartoon Network? And just because the cost was so expensive that then they didn't have that type of budget to pick it up from there.
Not to mention
and then
that
the
it was
rights
owned
to
by- yeah.
yeah, and then the rights. Sorry. Yeah, but the rights to actually do that style and that story is still the Disney Corporation, and they'd be like, we want $1 gazillion for the property. Because I've approached Kevin for that. I'm like, why don't we just get outside sourcing and just buy that from them? And then he said, you have no idea what the money is. And then I found out, like, oh, that is a lot of money. I'm like, that's probably the most expensive clerk item that they say is around. Like, they put some value on it. Like, what? It's like locked away in some crate behind the Raiders of the Lost Ark in some giant Disney warehouse.
You kind of tend to wonder, though. It's like, do they see the value in it, and that's why they put such a high number?
They're TV executives. They don't see value in shit. You know what their value is you know how much cocaine's in my living room, dining room table? All right, now let's talk about Buffy again. What? Any other questions? Young lady.
I'm not going to lie.
Well, thank you.
I mean, it's like when you hear that Clerks 2 is being made and, you don't get that phone call, it's a little disheartening. It's like, okay. But I thankfully did get to see the movie, just about when everybody saw it. Like, it wasn't the premiere, which I wasn't invited to either.
You're looking at me like I have some control.
No, that's not why I'm looking at you.
I mean, just because I moved on to Rosario Dawson.
But I did get to see the movie, and I really did love the movie, and I was very happy with everybody, and it's like, there was just a lot more heart to it, and I was very happy with Jason's growth as an actor as well. So, I mean, and I could see where it was. It's like,
Jason's growth? I'm fucking in the room.
I already knew you had what you had.
Oh, stop.
So I was, I lost my train of thought there. Thank you.
You can continue talking about me. Talk more about me.
But I could see why it didn't happen. I mean, it would have been nice to see that Veronica and Dante were still back together. We're still together, but I could see why it might not have happened. Although a little cameo and seeing the fact that it's like, okay, I see you move from the convenience store to the movies. That would have been funny. But I'm happy to be in Clerks 3. So.
That is true. I have been privileged to have read the script, and she is in it. And it's a very awesome part, especially what they have her doing in it. And
I haven't read the script.
Yes, but first we're going we're going to shoot Mallrats 2 first. So we start shooting that in October. Yeah. And pretty much everybody from the original is on board. We haven't heard from Mr. Ben Affleck. I don't know if he's been written into it. I mean, technically, if you've seen Mallrats, his character does go to jail. So it'd be funny if he got shanked or something in jail. Or some sort of weird kind of Orange is the New Black type of thing going on. Mm-hmm. In a male way, not in the whole raging lesbian way. Right. Any other questions? Yes.
Right there.
My interpretation of the ending of Chasing Amy. Straight guy can't convince lesbian to change back to the other side. I don't know. I'm not the type to sit in a film class and go, well, the meaning is, and then the filmmaker goes, that's not it at all. I enjoyed it. I enjoy the fact that, look, he fell in love for the person who they were. They both fell in love with the person who they were, and it just so happened to be a heterosexual relationship at the time. It was the two spirits connecting. It had nothing to do with the genitalia at that time, and I think when the jealousy and everything of that got involved, I think that's, as you see it, the downfall. Spoiler alert, who haven't seen Chasing Amy, but if you haven't, it's an amazing film, and that's actually the one film that Kevin won an award for, which was the Spirit Award for Best Screenplay. He won that year for that movie, so I highly recommend it.
It was nominated for a Golden Globe for Joey,
For
right?
Joey, yes, that's
Yeah.
right. Joey was also nominated for
Yeah.
a Golden Globe back then. Yes, yes.
Sure. You know, I knew it would be forever ingrained in my life, so I make fun of it too.
Don't get ahead of the script. Someone's
know
been
about the
searching
number.
the internet for the script, haven't they?
The funny thing is, I still haven't received the call about being in Clerks 3, but I was given the heads up by Kevin via Facebook message after my asking him that I was in it, indeed. The way that I keep up with what's happening is I have Google Alerts with my name and anything Clerks related. And so this is how I actually found out that Kevin was writing Clerks 3, that who was going to be in it and all that kind of stuff. And anything that kind of came by my way, I would send to my reps as well. People would be asking me on Facebook and social media and all that kind of stuff. And somebody from social media told me, after he went to a Q&A or listened to one of Kevin's podcasts, to tell me that I was in it. And I'm like, wait a minute, how about sending me the podcast? So I listened to it. And that was that wasn't my confirmation. That was my first confirmation, but Kevin was my second.
I read the script, saw her character name in it, and was like, oh, she's in it. That's awesome. It's weird because I've had the script in hand now for about a year and a half. It sits in my safe at home, and to have signed a non-disclosure where if I say anything, it's like $3 million are against me, like they'd ever get it. But I can't even talk to people who were involved in the film about it. And I was like, has he told you about it yet? She goes, no. I'm like, then I can't. I don't have...
to some degree, it's kind
I
of
don't have that type of money. Just imagine how much I'd have to charge for autographs. That's $5,000. Here you go. Don't worry, it's going to Kevin Smith anyway, so... It's just funding his next film. Think of it as a donation.
I mean, to some degree, it's kind of a funny thing, that I don't know the script at all.
Oh, I'm pissing myself laughing that you don't know. Because if you only knew,
Oh, great.
you wouldn't be in the room. I'm like kidding.
Oh, so you know the number then?
Oh, I know a lot of things. something like 3 million. Oh wait, that's the fine.
Good question right there. Your family's in the audience.
I know, I was just saying.
I'm sorry.
How consistently does he one take some of the crazy dead kind of stuff, or does he try to pull up with
Oh, no. We shit ourselves laughing the first couple of read-throughs of the script. We have to get the giggles out. Otherwise, come shoot day, we'll never get anything done. And there are takes that he'll do that are dead on, and then there are some that we go like, what? And we're just pissing ourselves laughing. And Jeff has the amazing ability to do straight type of deadpan like stuff like, interracial or interspecies erotica. Ooh, that's, you know what I mean? He just has this thing about him that he gets the character immediately. When we went to rehearsal, they flew me out from New York to rehearse for Clerks 2, and they said, we're going to rehearse for a month. They put me up at this place in Hollywood Hills area. It's like apartment, extended stay kind of hotel. And we rehearsed for the one day, and we had our first reading with Rosario Dawson. We had a session where, like, from noon until 2 o'clock, it was me, Kevin, Jeff, and Jason, and Scott, and we just did a read-through of the script. And we did it, and we gave notes and whatever. And then later in the day, Rosario Dawson was coming in to read with us. The next thing you know, we did this reading, and we were like, literally, all of a sudden, we just looked kind of like, oh my God, it's Rosario Dawson. So we all, meaning me and Jeff, kind of like went really, like, we're ready for film, ready for character type of bravado and everything and reading the lines. And then we said goodbye to Rosario, and she was really cool, and she left. And literally, Kevin turned to us and went, "What the fuck was that?" We're like, "What?" Like, "Oh, you're all of a sudden all on point. I was giving you these kind of notes that you guys were fumbling over earlier in the first read. Now you're all ready to go." We're like, "I don't know, it made us nervous to be ready." It's like, "All right." So we had like 2 more rehearsals, and then he was like, "I'll see you in a couple of weeks when we're ready to go and do the blocking." And so I just hung out in LA for like a week or 2 before we then started shooting. By the way, where in Ireland are you from? England? Southern England, whereabouts? South of London. I know the area. What's the town? Or are you on the run? Are you on the lam? That's cool. Oh, Letter. Okay, right on. Right on. So you live here now? Oh, right on. Well, welcome. Like I have to officially welcome him. Well, welcome. Our former owners of the country, welcome.
Any questions?
Yes.
Oh.
See, that's tough because Kevin is such a prolific. Why can't I say it? He's a very good writer. He has such good lines. Well, you think of that. You.
Oh.
I mean, you can't go wrong with "try not to suck any dick on the way to the parking lot." You know, I mean,
It would probably have to be something like 36.
something
Because
like 36?
because yeah.
You mean I'm 37? And see.
Because
that's a good one.
That's one that has kind of like a oh. Yeah.
I mean, and the second one, I'm like, you never go ass to mouth. I actually write that on the Clerks 2 photos that people buy from me.
I've seen that, yes.
Don't be a pickle fucker. There's just I mean, and they're such great, like, you know, Yeats type of witty lines. Yeah, there's so many that you can go, every movie there's something even better and better and better that he does. And just wait until you hear the stuff he's written for Clerks 3. All right, $3 million. Can't say it. Anyone? Yes, in the back. The Mallrats 2 has been written, and Kevin is doing another pass. He's been announcing it on his social media sites as the past couple of months. So what we've done is, because of some logistics issues that we're still having with Clerks 3, we've pushed shooting that next year. And in the meantime, since we had the budget and the wherewithal to shoot something now, we're going to start shooting Mallrats 2 in October in a town south of Philly. And I haven't seen that script either. I think Jason, out of the group I know, who's part of the film, is the only one who's actually seen the script.
Now you know how I feel.
And so, well, yeah, you know, I as long as I don't give him the script the day of shoot going, all right, learn this dialogue, you know what I mean? So in anticipation of playing that Gil Hicks role, I thought it'd be hilarious that here it is 20 years later, and that stupid ass thinks that long hair really is getting the chicks. Hey, you know what I mean? So I'm growing it for now. I can see him probably on Sunday saying, "What's with the hair?" I'm like, "Whoa, I'm going to play." No, you're not playing that at all. You're actually going to play Jason Mewes' brother in it. What are you doing? Like, what? Now that would be a twist. So yeah, that's the reason why the hair is. Don't trust me. This is not a real fashion statement on my part. Yes, thank you.
You're bringing it back.
I'm bringing it back. Yeah, I'm bringing the mullet back. Porch monkey, this whole thing. We're bringing it back. Yeah. Right.
Oh, definitely the new one.
I hate it when I read it. I even went to him and said, "Do you really have to kill the guy?" And I didn't say this then, but in my mind now, I'm thinking like, think of the sequel possibilities. But he explained to me, he's like, well, isn't that so sad and so ironic that he wasn't even supposed to be there that day and he gets killed? He's trying to make a serious point that this is what happens to these poor clerks all across the country. People are getting shot in gas stations and stuff like that. So he was like, it's a good way to end this thing in a serious note. I'm like, all right, what do I know? And then we screened it the first time ever at a film festival in New York, the Independent Feature Film Market, which is a film festival that doesn't even exist anymore in New York, at the Angelica down in Houston. And Bob Hawke, who was in the audience, saw the film, recommended
Thank God.
the film to John Pearson, who's a producer's rep. And then he was the one who said to him, "You got to take this out. It's a comedy, like, you know, this dick and fart jokes. And all of a sudden you're killing the guy, you're going to piss people off. Thank you guys for coming." And so I always say goodbye to people who leave, just so I know that I understand you have things to do. And so that's what happened to that. So when that happened, that they finally took it out, I was like, whew. But, you know, it was an extra DVDs extra, even though the
Yeah.
thing came out on Laserdisc first.
Mm-hmm.
Someone over
Question
here,
right
yes.
there.
So the first feed, there's no extra scenery, but I want to see a new Star Wars trilogy sequel conversation.
I'll let Kevin know that. Is there a conversation about Star Wars at some point in it? I don't know if there's conversations about it. I know that there's some sort of influence in it. I'm not going to get into any details with it, but it's a nerdgasm of so much stuff that is Kevin Smith movies and nerd life in general and clerk life that, you know, what we all know already is at the end of the second one, me and Randall have bought the store. I have some hideous fucking chud on the way inside Rosario Dawson. Spoiler alert, everybody who haven't seen the movie. That's kind of where we buy the video store, the whole block of stores. So it takes place, and he said this himself, so I'm not legally going to be challenged on this. It takes place not far after that for the guys.
So it's not 10 years later?
Well, through the magic of makeup, I guess, and there's going to be a lot of running and losing
People
weight.
still tell me I look the same, so that's good.
You do. You do. You still scream at me the same way, too. Anyone else? Yes. Obviously not. I played it as a young kid, like in my early teenage years, but at the age of 23, I was about going to clubs and you know, DJing and shit like that, and so no, I wasn't playing hockey then. Those guys did, though, like Kevin, and especially like Ed Habstack, the guy who's like, "How can I get a free Gatorade?" Like, he played all the time. And that's why they were on skates while I wasn't on the inline skates on the roof. Just because we were playing on a roof, and the roof that literally, the lip of it was right there, and that's how low it was. So literally, if you skated too far and went, you were going over. And I was like, you know what, can we shoot above my knees then, so it doesn't look like I have to be on skates? But we did it anyway. But I did back in the day. I was a goalie back when I played with my friends, street hockey and whatnot. Yeah. I got called into work on my fucking day off, dude. It's called acting. That's right. I'm glad you appreciate that it looked like I was hungover. And then there are people who are like really read deep into the beginning, like, why was he coming out of the closet in the beginning? I'm like, it has nothing to do with that. Get off my case, Mom. I'm just making sure. Yeah.
Well, two questions. Did you actually drink like the sugar in the milk? Like when you open the movie, you got the sugar you poured in the cat's head.
Oh, well, what you don't see in the cut is that I've made hot chocolate or something like that. So what it is it's it's chocolate milk mix that's going in, but because it's black and white film, you can't really tell that. So it's quick, Nestle Quick and powder, and then milk into the pig's head, and then I drink it. That's what that is. And the Quick Bunny is running around today. I saw that earlier.
You had another question?
Sure.
No. I wish I had, though. That would have been so much fun.
It wasn't fun that day because they actually did fire off a dry dust, whatever that chemical is, fire extinguisher, and it was everywhere. Like, it came out a lot stronger than they thought it was going to be. And this is a real operating store, so they were like, "Fuck,
Yeah.
I'm gonna clean this all off," and not so that the owner doesn't see like, "What is this buzzed all over? Are you snorting cocaine in my store?" You know, it's just like, oh.
I didn't even get to see the scene being
Yeah,
done.
they shot
I
it
was,
without
I
her.
was in the holding area, getting the makeup done, finishing that up, and then afterwards, I guess after they cleaned it up, that's when
Yeah.
I came in and they put
There was
me
a
up
lot
on
of,
top
"Oh
of the
shit, we gotta clean
refrigerator
this
there.
up."
But it was still fun.
I saw a hand over here. Yes, no? Yes.
Right there.
How was the production run? How was it like behind the scenes? Was it organized? Was it
No, it was for the first one was definitely run as well as it could have been
I think so.
for a 3-man crew, and for like a 5-person cast.
And
There
it's
wasn't-
not like we even knew any better at that point either. But
Yeah.
now with the experience that we have, definitely it was organized.
Yeah, and they had all gone to film school, so they knew the procedures of getting it done. It was just a matter of calling us what we were doing and scheduling what we were shooting next that day. And like literally the first night of filming, 2 major chunks of the film were filmed. It was the conversation between Randall and Veronica about me talking to Caitlin and thinking I don't want to back in the video store. And that was, done very quickly. And then then the Dante and Caitlin characters in the video store, I'm like, I hear you're getting married. What's this I hear you're getting married? And that's, if you watch it, is a 7-minute uncut scene. And so we did, I think, 2 takes of that, and that was it. I don't know how many takes you guys did of the Randall scene.
Well, it seems definitely more than one, if you've seen the 10th anniversary DVD. I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, we didn't take a lot of takes with him, especially because they couldn't afford the lights to light for color film, because with the fluorescence, you can't really film color film under fluorescence. Everybody has that green matrix look on them. So to off balance that, to light something correctly with the tungsten lightings and the gels, there's a lot of money to do that, and then turn off all the lights in the store, and they didn't want to do that. And so that's why it is shot in black and white. It's not an artistic choice. It's we's broke, choice.
Yeah, and then there was our long scene, me kicking you in the shoe there.
Yeah, for some reason that was longer than it should have been. Like, all right, you kicked me. Take, cut,
Hey,
we're done.
hey,
I said, ow,
I wasn't
stop
the one
it.
that was saying take again.
No, I know. It is kind of weird. So that, and then throughout the years after that, like Kevin runs a really cool and relaxed type of ship.
Yeah.
I mean, we get the stuff done, we laugh our asses off, and we move along. And it's been great, been able to work with him in a majority of his films and seeing his growth as a director, which is tremendous. And he's edited every film, pretty much every film he's ever made. Him and Scott have edited, and a lot of times it's just Kevin editing as well. So it's nice to see him as a filmmaker grow tremendously like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know where you get that story
Our
from.
day
but
jobs.
Our day jobs. Go ahead, you start that.
I still have day jobs. But I worked in a salon at that time. And so I'd put in my 8-hour day, go home, get ready, go to the convenience store, maybe get a couple of hours sleep before I had to go back into work. That was for about 3-4 days for me.
For me, I worked at a barware manufacturer, like ice buckets, trays, stuff you'd see in your hotel room. There was a manufacturer, and I lived about an hour north of the store in New Brunswick, New Jersey, which is the same town that the Rutgers campus was on. A bunch of friends of mine who went to Rutgers and we rented a house that we lived out of, so I would travel. I would go to work from 9 to 5, take my lunch break at noon, come home, take a quick cat nap, be out of my job by 5, get back home, go right to bed, sleep until about 9:30, get up, shower, shave, and then get down to the store, be ready in the store by 10:30, ready to shoot by 11, and then we'd start shooting from like 11 o'clock at night till about 5:30 or 6 in the morning, depending on what we were shooting. And then we did 2 daylight weekends where we did the hockey scene, the funeral parlor scene,
The lasagna scene.
and a few of those. Anything where you actually saw sunlight was done in like 1 or 2 weekend days that were like a half days type of thing. When we got famous, we're still not famous. No, I mean, that's one thing you don't do is you don't quit. I've been very fortunate enough to have jobs that knew what my passion was and what I did, and so I could take long breaks off and then come back. That barware company was a family, not my family, but a family-owned business that supported my career, and anytime I needed, they supported me that way, and then I could just come back and do this job, which it was funny enough, I would do trade shows around the country, so I'd be in convention centers, even on my the day job that I did at that time, doing different, like a houseware show or something like that, selling this barware stuff. And there'd be times when the film was coming out in the mid to late 90s and early 2000s when I was in other of the films as well, and I was still doing this barware type of job, where, you know, these people who own stores would walk by, and I'd have people walk by our booth and go like this and go, walk away, and then pretend they're looking at the product on the shelves but giving me the eye. And then they come up asking about a product and go, by the way, just, were you ever in a movie? I'm like, hey, how you doing? And it's kind of that awkward moment, but, you know, you got to pay your bills and stuff like that. And I've been fortunate enough that I have different friends and filmmaker friends that I can work and still do these type of cons and stuff, and yet still do other types of jobs.
Yeah, I mean, after Clerks, even when it became known and popular, and just so you know, and everybody seems to be very unaware, it was a true independent film. There are no residuals. So we do not get a little paycheck every day after you see it on Showtime and all that kind of stuff.
It was a non-union film, so it just got bought by Miramax, and then we were just paid a flat fee of doing our work for the movie. And the royalties, because it's not residuals because it wasn't a union thing, but the royalties go to Kevin and the deal that he has with Miramax. So they split the royalties. So we don't get like residuals because it's a non-union thing. When you do a union gig, like then when I did Mallrats and then Chasing Amy, that is union work because it was a union job, and I do get my 29 cents every once in a while. Like checks where like the stamp and the envelope and the paper is worth more than the actual residual. I always find like, you know, this is not economically feasible, but all right, whatever. Those type of checks, you know, still come. Mallrats 2, not Mallrats 2, Clerks 2 and stuff like that. So it all depends as an actor if you're working on a union gig or not, you know, and that's the thing, that's the struggle now is productions are trying to save money by trying to go non-union, but union actors are like, yeah, but that's how we get our health insurance. That's why it's best to do it. And they go, yeah, but it costs us more money. But then we say, yeah, but in the end, there are more eyes looking at the receipts, so you're not going to get ripped off. You, even as producers, won't get ripped off because our union is looking at the receipts going like, well, everybody, okay, that's the math, and these guys get this, and you guys get that. And so this is, when I do film school discussions, we go more into the business angle of when you're a filmmaker, how the business is. And one of my key things is to tell people, get a good lawyer, a good entertainment lawyer, not just, hey, my dad's lawyer, he's real estate. No, not that type of law. You want someone who knows entertainment law, otherwise there are very weird loopholes to steal your money from you.
Yeah. And also what I was going to say on that is like, yeah, we became a little bit more well-known after the film. But this business is not an easy business. It's like I got to go on a few more auditions. I got some agents, but nothing was really kind of taking off for me. And I've done some more independent films and things like that. But you know, I still have, like I said, my day jobs. I work in a salon. I do freelance hair and makeup. I work as a photographer as well at some occasions. But you know, I'm still pursuing it. I have not killed the dream. Thank you.
I have expanded into porn. No, just meaning I've watched more of it now. What are you thinking? That's disgusting. Yeah. Yes, sir. No.
It's so funny we had to think about that.
It will be a reunion for us on film in Clerks 3. In so many ways, it's so funny.
I mean, it's funny because it's like we worked on community theater together before Clerks, so
correct.
We've known each other.
We had done productions of theater stuff. We have about 5 or 6 under our belt together.
Yeah.
It will be a reunion on film for us in that regard. So I look forward to it.
Just in general.
And just in general. I mean, we see each other on the convention circuit, about 3 times to 4 times a year, depending on what we're working on. But it's fun, and it's going to be fun next year when we have her for Clerks 3. And I don't know, maybe there's some way that Kevin can work her into some sort of Mallrats thing. Like I said, I don't know the script, so I don't know where he's going with Mallrats, as he's calling it. Like, I don't know if it's the Kim Kardashian of Mallrats. I have no idea. All of a sudden, we're all working at, you know, some sort of weird kind of Beverly Hills posh store or something like that. We're going to only have like another minute left, so if you guys want to wrap up any questions, yeah. Any what?
Any
Romance on the set?
romance?
Well, I mean, Jeff Anderson and Lisa Spoonhour, who played Caitlin, started dating off of the movie and then eventually got married. So out of the original Clerks, yeah, there was that romance that really did, blossom. And then they were married for about 7 years?
I don't know.
Six or 7 years, and then they got divorced. Yeah, there was that kind of romance.
It's like it's.
I
know. It's
I
like with us,
almost,
it's like we're like brother
I
and
almost
sister.
had a
Even though
thing-
people kind of, it's like, I think we're together sometimes when we're out at these conventions and stuff. But it's just that really good friendship that we have. I guess that just shows
Yeah.
that history that we have together.
Yeah. Plus, she's my ride when I get drunk. So, yeah, right? You need that type of person. And then there was a brief fling on Clerks 2 I had with Kinky Kelly. Yeah. Well, I'm an ass man. What can I say? On that note, I want to thank everybody for coming on out here. And once again, Florida Supercon, you guys rock. And this audience has always been the best audience. We have more panels this whole weekend. Jason Mewes has a panel tomorrow. Check your schedule. Joey Lauren Adams has a filmmaker panel. If you want to know more about filmmaking, she's an amazing director and producer herself. So she has a panel. And then all four of us will be on a panel on Sunday afternoon on the main stage. I'm going to have to keep the cursing down out there. Yeah, I know. Fuck them, right? So we'll be on the main stage on Sunday, and then the boss is in town to blow the roof off this motherfucker come Sunday. Sunday night, 7:30 on the main stage. I don't know what he has in mind. Who knows? Maybe he'll talk Clerks 3. Maybe he'll say she's, in Mallrats 2. Who knows? But thank you
Maybe
guys
if
for
enough
having me. I
people
want to
say.
thank Ricky. Thank you for shooting the GoPro. You're the man. Thank you for the audience. Give a pan to the audience. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
And you can look us up on Twitter or Instagram. I am Brian, my middle initial Brian C. O'Halloran. It might be up there, yeah. She's up
Marilyn
there as well.
Ghigliotti on Twitter, or That Clerks Girl, and I'm on Facebook, Instagram.
And coming in July will be my podcast, which this will probably sampled on the O'Halloran on Smodco's network. Thank you guys so much. You guys have been great.
Thank you.
Thank you guys, Florida Supercon.